The rain hammered against the windshield of Isabella Rodriguez's pristine white Mercedes as she pulled into the parking garage of the Grandview Shopping Center. At 28, she had everything she thought mattered: a corner office at the city's most prestigious marketing firm, a penthouse apartment with panoramic city views, and a wardrobe that could grace any red carpet. Her handbag contained more money than most people saw in a month, yet as she stepped out of her luxury car, a hollow ache gnawed at her chest. Today marked exactly 3 years since her mother's passing, and despite all her material success, Isabella felt more lost than ever. The designer heels clicked against the concrete as she hurried toward the elevator, her mind consumed with quarterly reports and client presentations, anything to avoid the grief that threatened to surface. Meanwhile, 3 floors below in the shopping center's basement, Marcus Thompson was finishing his shift at the small electronics repair shop. His weathered hands, skilled from years of fixing broken devices, carefully packed his tools into a worn canvas bag. At 55, Marcus had learned to find beauty in the broken things others discarded. His own life had been a series of repairs, recovering from addiction, rebuilding relationships with his estranged children, and slowly reconstructing his faith in humanity. The modest apartment he shared with his teenage daughter Sarah was a far cry from luxury, but it was filled with something money couldn't buy: hope. Sarah was graduating high school in 2 months, and despite their financial struggles, she had earned a partial scholarship to study medicine. Marcus worked 3 jobs to cover the remaining expenses, his calloused hands testament to his unwavering dedication to giving his daughter the future he never had. As Isabella emerged from an upscale boutique, arms laden with shopping bags that would temporarily fill the void in her heart, she didn't notice her wallet slip from her loosely closed purse. The Italian leather billfold, containing her credit cards, $3,000 in cash, and her most precious possession, the last photo of her and her mother together, fell silently onto the marble floor. Marcus was walking toward the exit when something caught his eye near the fountain. The elegant wallet lay abandoned, its golden clasp glinting under the mall's crystal chandeliers. He picked it up, immediately recognizing its quality and weight. Opening it carefully, his eyes widened at the thick stack of bills, but it was the photograph that made him pause. The image showed a younger Isabella embracing an older woman who shared her warm brown eyes and radiant smile. Both women wore hospital gowns, but their faces glowed with love and determination. On the back, in delicate handwriting, were the words, "The day we beat cancer together, until we meet again, mi amor." Mama Marcus's throat tightened. He understood the sacred nature of such memories, having lost his own mother years ago. This wasn't just a wallet, it was someone's treasure chest of love and remembrance. The smart thing, the easy thing, would have been to turn it into security, but something deeper compelled him to find this woman personally. Using the business cards in her wallet, he discovered Isabella's office address. The next morning, despite needing to work a double shift, Marcus made the 40-minute journey across town to the gleaming downtown tower where Isabella worked. Isabella had spent a sleepless night tearing through her apartment, her car, and retracing every step. The money was devastating to lose, but the photograph was irreplaceable. She sat in her executive chair, mascara smudged, calling the police and every store she'd visited, her usual composure cracking like fine china. When her assistant announced that a man named Marcus Thompson was in the lobby asking to see her about a personal matter, Isabella's heart skipped. Could it be possible? The elevator doors opened to reveal a man whose gentle eyes and work-worn clothes stood in stark contrast to the polished marble and steel surrounding them. Marcus stepped forward, extending the familiar leather wallet with both hands, as if presenting a sacred offering. "I believe this belongs to you," he said softly. Isabella's hands trembled as she opened the wallet. Everything was there, every bill, every card, and most importantly, the photograph. Tears she had held back for days began to flow freely. I can't believe you. How did you find me?" She managed between sobs. Marcus smiled gently. "I saw the picture of you and your mother. I lost mine a few years back, and I know how precious these memories are. I couldn't just let it disappear into some lost and found." For the first time in months, Isabella really looked at another human being. She saw the kindness in Marcus's weathered face, the integrity in his posture, and the genuine concern in his eyes. Here was a man who had traveled across the city, sacrificing his own time and money simply to return something that wasn't his. "Please," Isabella said, reaching into her desk drawer, "let me give you a reward. You don't understand what this means to me." Marcus raised his hand gently. "I don't want anything in return. But if you really want to do something, there's a young woman who could use some help." That's when Marcus shared Sarah's story. Her dreams of becoming a doctor, her academic achievements, and the financial challenges they faced despite her scholarship. He spoke with such pride and love that Isabella's heart, which had been frozen in grief and material pursuits, began to thaw. Would you let me meet her?" Isabella asked, surprising herself with the words. The following Saturday, Isabella drove to a part of the city she'd never seen, her Mercedes looking out of place among the modest homes and small businesses. She found Marcus and Sarah at the community center, where Sarah was volunteering at a medical clinic for underserved families. Watching the 18-year-old interact with elderly patients, translate for non-English speakers, and assist with basic medical procedures, Isabella saw something she had forgotten existed: purpose beyond personal gain. Sarah's eyes lit up when she spoke about her dreams of specializing in pediatric oncology, inspired by her desire to help children the way doctors had helped her younger brother through a childhood illness. "I want to be the kind of doctor who remembers that behind every patient is a family who loves them," Sarah explained, unknowingly echoing the lesson Isabella was learning. That evening, Isabella made a decision that would change not just Sarah's life, but her own. She established a Maria Rodriguez Memorial Scholarship, named after her mother, covering not only Sarah's remaining college expenses, but also medical school tuition. But more than the financial support, Isabella offered something equally valuable: mentorship, guidance, and most importantly, a chosen family. Marcus tried to refuse the generous gift, but Isabella insisted. "You gave me back more than a wallet," she explained. "You gave me back my purpose, my mother's true legacy, and a reason to honor her memory." Over the following months, Isabella's life transformed in ways she never anticipated. She reduced her work hours to spend time volunteering at the community clinic where she'd met Sarah. She discovered that her debauched skills could help small nonprofits reach more people in need. Most surprisingly, she found the deep fulfillment that had eluded her in boardrooms and luxury purchases. The hollow ache in her chest was replaced by warmth every time Sarah called with updates about her pre-med studies, or when Marcus invited her to family dinners where laughter echoed off the small apartment walls. She learned that real wealth wasn't measured in designer handbags or penthouse views, but in the lives you touch and the love you share. On the anniversary of her mother's death, Isabella stood in the hospital where her mother had received treatment, but this time she wasn't there as a grieving daughter. She was there to announce the opening of the Maria Rodriguez Family Support Center, a place where families fighting cancer could find resources, hope, and community. Sarah, now in her second year of pre-med, stood beside her during the ribbon cutting, while Marcus beamed with pride from the audience. The scared, lonely woman who had lost her wallet had found something infinitely more valuable: a family bound not by blood, but by choice, kindness, and shared purpose. The lost wallet had become the bridge between two worlds, proving that sometimes our most treasured possessions are the ones we are meant to give away. In returning Isabella's wallet, Marcus had unknowingly returned her heart. In accepting his act of kindness, Isabella had discovered that true luxury lies not in what we can afford to buy, but in what we choose to give. As Isabella looked out at the faces in the crowd, patients, families, medical staff, and community members, she touched the photograph in her wallet, the same one that had guided Marcus to her. She could almost hear her mother's voice whispering the truth she finally learned. Real wealth, mi amor, is measured in the lives we touch and the love we leave behind. The wallet that had once seemed lost forever had actually found its way exactly where it needed to be. Not just back to Isabella, but into a story that would touch countless lives for generations to come. Sometimes, the most beautiful transformations begin with the smallest acts of human kindness. Like and subscribe for more videos.